Here's some of the statistics that the article cites from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to the BLS, right, in America right now, there are 115,000 janitors who have college degrees, bachelor's degrees. There are 83,000 bartenders with bachelor's degrees. These are people who graduated college, not the ones that dropped out but have maybe 2 or 3 years. They actually got their degrees. These guys graduated, right? There are 323,000 waiters and waitresses who graduated from college with a bachelor's degree. 80,000 truck drivers who have college degrees. Now, just those 4 categories right there, that's over 600,000 Americans who spent probably 5, maybe 6 years getting a college degree only to get a job cleaning toilets or waiting tables. Now, do you really need a college degree to clean a toilet? I mean, I don't know. I mean, my son is 9. I think he could clean a toilet if I asked him to. You don't need to go to college to learn how to do that. I mean, there are some skills, to drive in a truck, but you don't learn those skills in college. You know, I didn't remember any truck driving courses when I was going to college. Same thing with bartending. I mean, they have bartender schools, but it's not a class at a university level. And, of course, you can learn how to tend bar and make drinks. Not going to take you very long. In fact, you could probably just get a job as a bar back, and you can learn how to mix the drinks in your spare time, not to pay a nickel. You can actually earn money while you're learning to be a bartender. Same thing with a waiter or waitress. But and how much, when you want to figure out what people cost, what it costs to get these degrees, don't just think about what they paid in tuitions for the 5 years or 6 years it might have taken them to get that liberal arts degree in philosophy. But what about the 5 or 6 years that they weren't in the workforce? What about all the money they didn't earn? What about all the skills that they didn't acquire because they were wasting their time sitting in a classroom studying, comparative philosophies or, the mating habits of fleas or something? They didn't learn anything worthwhile. I mean, think about the waiter who spends 5 years in college and gets a job at Denny's, as a waitress. You think it makes any difference? You think when she's waiting tables, you think she brings a copy of her diploma so that the people who she's serving know that they're being served by a college graduate? You think she's going to get a bigger tip if they realize that she's got a sociology degree? Do you think her sociology degree is she going to be able to better interact with the customers so that she's going to make their dining experience better, so that it's going to be more profitable for the owner of that Denny's restaurant, that the customers are being waited on by a college grad with a bachelor's degree in sociology? I don't think so. But think about this. Think about, let's say you are the manager of that Denny's restaurant, or it's just a small restaurant. It doesn't have to be a Denny's. You own a restaurant. And let's say I've got a job opening for an assistant manager. Who am I going to hire? Let's say I got somebody coming to me, applying for a job as assistant manager, never worked in a restaurant, but has a bachelor's degree and from a mediocre university somewhere, liberal arts degree. Or let's say I got someone who's been working for me for 4 or 5 years as a waiter, never went to college, skipped college, but worked at my restaurant, and has done a good job, has shown a lot of interest in the restaurant and the restaurant business. They've worked waiting tables, but they've been around. If I've got a job opening for an assistant manager, who am I more likely to hire? Who do I think has better work experience, better credentials, right? Somebody who's worked in my restaurant for 4 years, that understands my business, right? That knows how it works, that I've already watched them in action. I see how they interact. I know their work ethic. Or do I want to take a chance on a college grad who's never even seen the inside of a restaurant, certainly my restaurant, doesn't know anything about my customers, my business. No, I'd rather promote the guy who's been working for me, who skipped college altogether. And of course, that guy, he doesn't have any loans because he didn't borrow a bunch of money to go to college because he didn't go. So many of our young people are wasting so much time and money. And of course, a lot of it is taxpayer money, getting worthless degrees when they would be much better off just skipping out on college altogether. I got Mike on the line
I'm 27. I graduated college in 2008, and I'm saddled with some student loan debts myself. And for me, the main problem is, how do we get my generation, the group of kids that graduated college, that are saddled with debt, that have to, postpone their dreams and their plans, that don't have the resources, the tools, or the education because they didn't get it. They didn't get it when they were in school, and they're not getting it when they're out because they can't get in the job market. How do we get these people to get on the road to innovation, get on the road to getting some things done and getting some jobs?
On a bigger picture, we need more economic freedom if we want more opportunity. We need to shrink government, lower taxes, repeal rules and regulations so that we can have more entrepreneurship flourish. But, one answer that I've thought about, and I haven't actually pursued it, maybe somebody will, just throwing it out there, but most companies, they use a college degree as some kind of screening certification of competence that, yes, this person that I'm going to interview for was able to sit through a 4-year program at a university and not get expelled. He showed up on time to class. He did his work. He graduated. It's almost like just a pre-screening process that where companies say, look, I want to narrow down the field of applicants. So one way to narrow it down is to require a college degree, because at least I know I'm seeing a higher quality of applicants than if I see people who skip college. Well, I think if we could do something, if a company, somebody like a Thiel, but maybe to get together with some big Fortune 500 companies to formulate a company that simply certifies applicants as worthy of an interview. Basically, maybe you put people through a 6-week boot camp of scrutiny, where you monitor them, you test them, you put them through mock interviews, or you put them through almost like an apprenticeship program, except it's not on television with Donald Trump. But you give people tasks, you see how they handle the tasks, you see how they handle stress, you see how they work with other people. How they cooperate, how they solve problems, how they take responsibility. And you put them through this jobs boot camp. And if they graduate, you kind of put a certification on them that says, okay, this person has met our rigorous standards, almost like, you're certifying like beef. This is a quality, prime rib beef. You say, this is a great applicant. We think, he would be a credit to any company. And you just put him through this certification process. And maybe you charge a small amount of money for the 6 weeks, or maybe you get businesses to underwrite it as part of their, job search, and they might, pay it. But I think that could be a big business, and you can attract a lot of kids that would otherwise go to college and say, hey, just get this certification. It's only going to take 6 weeks, and, you might land a great job. As opposed to wasting 5 years and $100,000 or $200,000 at a university to basically accomplish the same thing.
Yeah,
and maybe not even as good.
Idea. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And I actually have a plan as well in place that I heard. How do we improve it? What do we do? How do we
it's difficult. And that's why I think a lot of young people have been attracted to the liberty movement, with the Ron Paul candidacy, because they're starting to wake up and recognize how this country is changing, how the character is changing, and how their opportunities are evaporating. And all you get from the left, all you get from the Obama crowd, is promises of more government, promises of more aid, so that you can borrow even more money to buy a degree that's already basically worthless. They can't even bother to question the legitimacy and the wisdom of their policies despite their repeated failures. They're so, brainwashed into this cult of socialism that they can't see any reality. All they can think of is, we need more of this Kool-Aid and somehow it's going to work. So some younger people, through the internet or through, whatever, are going to find out. And if they can't help change the country, my prediction is they're going to leave. And the fact of the matter is, if you look at a lot of the skilled trades, if you look at, let's say, a tailor or an electrician or a lot of these guys are immigrants,
right?
Because Americans aren't acquiring these skills. So immigrants are coming in to fill the void because our young people are wasting all their time in college and none of them are learning how to do anything that we actually need. And so the people that can actually have skills and have a trade, they're coming in from other countries and making, decent money.
My college degree was worthless. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts in Communication. I don't even know what that means.
Look, even tennis, I have a tennis instructor that comes and giving lessons. My son's taking lessons. These tennis lessons are $80 an hour. The guy's coming here from South Africa teaching tennis. I mean, you don't need to go to college to teach people how to play tennis. You just have to, be a good tennis instructor. You don't learn that,